Alright guys, so I'm out here tonight. I've got the Citation back in the garage. So what I'm going to start doing tonight is kind of a tutorial, but not a real tutorial because I'm just doing it the way I know how, and I don't know if it's 100% correct or not, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to replace this track. So I've got another way better condition used track here. So I'm going to start tearing this thing apart tonight. So first thing you want to do is get down here and loosen off your idler wheels. So loosen both sides there, get them nice and loose, and then you can see under here you got your adjusting bolt here. So loosen off your jam nut and then back this bolt out as much as you can to get the idler wheels to slide forward towards the front of the sled, which will loosen your track. Then once you get that done, you'll want to lift the center of the sled up. So what I'm going to do is just rig mine up to the beam here with a come along and get this going. Okay, so once you've got it lifted up here, I got mine rigged up to the ceiling like I said. Next thing you want to do, so I loosened those things off, the idlers, and I backed everything off, but that track has shrunk. So idler wheels as far as I can go forward, and that's as loose as the track gets. So next thing you want to do is go ahead and take your suspension bolts out. So on these Citations here, you got one here and then one here. So I'm going to drop the back bolts out first, let the skid drop, and then I'll go up here and I'll take these guys out here. Okay, so typical fashion, nothing comes out as planned. There was two different sized bolts on the rear here, and one was just cross threaded right in. The front came out easy, but the rear was a challenge. I had to get out the impact in two different size sockets and work it back and forth, but I finally got it out. So, and they have some sort of random pink spring in here. So as you can see, the skid is hanging off the ground still with all the bolts out. Sorry, not all the bolts. I got to take out the idlers yet, but it's been a struggle so far. Hopefully things pick up here. Okay, there we go. Skid is out. I'm just checking over the bearings here. Here's the idler shaft. That bearing's no good. This one doesn't spin at all, just grabs. So that one, good thing we were checking. That one's no good. These rear ones seem pretty good, and so do these ones. So don't know if I'm gonna do those bearings yet or not, but we'll decide as we go. But these ones I might leave. They're good. They have a grease zerk here, so as long as they get greased, these ones usually stay pretty good. Just kind of lowered it here again. So what I'm going to do now is pop the hood and start taking stuff apart in there so I can see what I need to take apart to get this drive shaft out. Like I said, I've never done a Citation before, but same principle as every other one I've ever done. So here we go. Okay, so next thing here at the Citation is get the oil tank off. There's just a bolt that holds it right on top the chain case here, and then pull your chain case bolts out. There's 6 on here, I can't remember, but just around the outside here. So pull the cover off your chain case. Make sure you get a catch pan under here because you're going to drain oil all down inside there. So yeah, so get that done here, and now I'm going to start pulling the gears and chain out of this chain case. Okay, so gears are out. So next thing is I'll have to take off this chain case completely. So there's 4 bolts that hold this chain case on. I don't know if you can see, but there's one here, the one down there, and then same on the other side. So get that off. This chain case should slide out of there. And I'll have that side done, and I can start working on the other side. Okay guys, it was a little bit of a struggle as per usual, but so next thing I did is there's this plate here that holds the jack shaft and secondary clutch in. So there's 3 bolts at the bottom here which holds the bearing retainer on the other side. So what you want to do is you need to take those bolts out, and there's these 2 bolts here which bolt this to the chassis. Take those out, then you're able to take your whole secondary and everything out once you get the gears and everything out of the chain case, which I already showed you. So gears are out. So next thing is I'm just still working on getting this chain case out. It's kind of struggling because the shaft is kind of still stuck in that bottom bearing. So I got to get that out, but I did get the track out. It's over there. So I'm going to call it quits for tonight, and I'll get that out another night and start putting it all back together a different day. So that's it for now. Another thing I'll mention here is I noticed in the bottom of the chain case all these little metal pieces here. It looks like it's from a cotter pin. Not sure yet, but good thing I took this apart because I can get all that out of there and clean it up. I'll inspect this chain really well, make sure there's no pieces missing on that, inspect all the gears, make sure it's all good. Give the belly pan a good cleaning inside there, and check all the bearings in the drive just to make sure they're all good. I got new ones just in case, but that's it for now. Okay, so like I said, old track's out, new track is in. I flipped this one around just like I did with my 300, so the lugs are going the other way, so you get better traction, but a little less braking. But I don't notice the difference on the 300 at all for braking, but I do notice I get a lot better traction. So like I said, track's in. So I just got it sitting in here for now. I'm going to go ahead and start buttoning this thing back up now. But here's on the chain case side. All in all, it wasn't too bad, but I'll keep doing videos. Okay, and while I have this out, make sure you just go over and check all your bearings on your idlers and everything. This one actually looks pretty good, so I'm not going to be doing any of the bearings on this. I bought new slides just in case, but the slides look good. So I'll leave those on and hold on to those till later. But one thing I am going to do is I'm going to replace this shock. It's blown out. And I also got new springs all around. The suspension was pretty soft on this thing, so I got all new springs to put on. The upper idlers, like I showed you, were shot, so I actually just went and bought a whole new replacement instead of drilling out these rivets and just replacing the bearing and having to bolt this back together. These are pretty cheap, so I just bought this plastic idler that has the bearing you can replace there, so I'll put those on. Yeah, limiter strap looks good, so that'll stay. Yeah, I had to just ran a tap through these cross shafts here, and I bought some new hardware for the cross shafts since there was a couple different sizes there, so I just made them all the same. Yeah, other than that, get this all changed over here and then start to put the skid back in. Okay, so track and suspension are back in. I just got to finish up the chain case and everything, but skid's in. I didn't get any videos of that, but because it's a real pain in the butt to get that thing in there. But if you look at Louis Skibo's videos, Power Mods, he's got a good video of putting these torque reaction suspensions back in. That's kind of what I use as my guide on how to get these back in. But yeah, they're a bugger. So that's back in, so I'm just going to button up the chain case and then I'll string this back up and get the track aligned a bit, and then this thing is done. Alright guys, so there we go. Chain case is all bolted back in, covers on. I had to replace the chain on there because like I said, I noticed some chunks in the chain case, all these little bits here, so I couldn't exactly figure out what was going on there until I flipped the chain over and had a look, and I noticed on some of these rollers here, these little cases covering there we go, there's one there. So these are breaking apart and leaving pieces rolling around the chain case. So it's a good thing I discovered that, so I got a new chain on there. So now I'm just going to finish, gonna put some oil in this thing. So I've never put oil in a Citation before, but I'm assuming you pull out that plug down at the bottom, you fill through here until you get oil coming up into there, put the cap back in there, put that in, you're done. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get this thing strung up and set the track so it's tracking properly. Alright, so there we go, track is done. I lifted it up there and I just adjusted the track back and forth just to make sure you've got even amount of track here on the other side of your idler wheel there. So adjust those bolts here in and out either side to get it tracking straight, and then tighten up your jam nuts, tighten up your bogies, bolt here, that's it, you're done. So I think this took me probably 5-6 hours to do. You could probably do it quicker if you're more familiar with the Citation, but like I said, there's a few things that I had to struggle with, but it's all back together now. Oil tank back on. That'll be a much better track than what he had on there before. So I took it up, like I said, I took it up and down the street. Seems to be running pretty good. So call this one a wrap.